Thanks for clicking. Happy spring. I gotta tell you, the weather sure turned around in my neck of the woods. I think it got up to somewhere probably in the high 40s today. It's supposed to get up into the mid and high 50s later this coming week. And I actually did my very first, I busted out or dusted off and busted out the bike, the pedal bike, the bicycle today, and topped off the tires and went out and biked for like 12 miles. And that was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, that's pretty early, actually. I mean, like March 8th to be able to dust off the bike and take it for the first trip of the year. So obviously that was extremely invigorating and fantastic. And this whole week is just going to keep getting warmer and warmer, you know, low, mid and high 50s as the week goes on, nothing but sun. So I basically just plan to be biking every single day and taking advantage of that. And hopefully I'll maybe shoot some outdoor videos or something like that for you lovely fellows and stuff like that. Fellows and ladies to watch. And like I said before, I mean, it's a long time coming. This was a long and cold winter, and it's just crazy how fast things can turn around, and just like holy Toledo. And I'm very appreciative of that, of course. And obviously getting out there today for the first time since probably October on the bike trail and stuff was fantastic, and as a result I'm in a much better mood than normal. So on to this particular topic for this video, which is something to the extent of I might just have to accept the fact that you know, I'm just never going to meet anyone. Throughout the course of my life, and especially the last, I'd say 4.5 years, that's kind of like the post-dad years. My dad died of cancer 4.5 years ago, and he was like my favorite person, the person I was closest to. And obviously when you lose the person you're closest to and that's in your life every day, and kind of like your roommate. I mean, I was living with my dad, we were both a couple of bachelors, so we kept each other company. The last 4.5 years have been tougher than normal. I mean, a complete shift, you know, in my life compared to what my life had been up until that point. And, you know, over the last, probably even before 4.5 years ago, but certainly over the last 4.5 years, you know, this particular thought, which which has re-entered my mind again, has entered my mind and gone away, and entered my mind and gone away. Life's kind of like this in regards to your thoughts, you know, up and down. In regards to your thoughts about life, you know, where, you know, I've said it before, where I think in my, you know, giving up on people video, I'm like, screw people. And then, you know, over the course of weeks and months, you'll want to, you know, the desire comes back to want to try to connect with people, and then you'll try for a while or something, and then you'll be back at the same thing where it's like, screw people. And like I say, this video is about just the spot I am right now, kind of. You know, I wish I could stay here, but unfortunately, you know, especially as the weather gets nicer and stuff, I'll probably revert back to my, you know, longing for human, you know, connection with others and stuff like that. I wish I could just stay this way, and, you know, maybe I could, you know, self-hypnotize myself to try to stay this way, which is, you know, I really think, you know, having just turned 38 like 4 months ago, or, you know, basically 4 months ago, I really think at this stage of the game that it might really just be best in not being able to make any, you know, meaningful or lasting connections, human connections. I really kind of feel like at this juncture, you know, maybe the best thing to do, not that I can stay in this mindset, like I say, it's a constant like this, and, you know, but I really kind of feel like at this point, like I'm sure I have before in the past, that I really should maybe try to program my mind to accept the fact that I might not basically ever meet anyone, or, you know, just accept that. Because, you know, in my Loneliness Hurts video, I talked about, you know, how painful it is to have a desire for something that you can't, you know, that you can't fulfill, you know, a longing for something that is elusive and unattainable. usually the way I am with my longings for stuff, like in relation to just, you know, getting a job, or in particular like making videos and short films and movies and stuff like that. I mean, or even just physical things like I want to kayak, or I want to swim, or I want to bike. I mean, usually if it's something that I want to do, I'll do it. And like I've said before in the Loneliness Hurts video I did in December, I think, the problem, you know, the problem with making connections with people is that you only, as the person who wants to make a connection, only only account for half of the situation. Like, you don't have complete control of the situation like I do when, you know, if I want to make a movie, or if I want to do a project, or if I want to paint a sign, or if I want to draw something, or do photography, or go biking or kayaking. I mean, you have 100% control, maybe not of movies, but you know, you have even with movies, you have 100% control. You're going to get it done eventually. You know, it's just a matter of time if you keep trying. But everything else, like biking, kayaking, you know, swimming, whatever, you just do it. I mean, you have 100% control of it. And the frustrating thing about, you know, trying to make connections with other people is you don't have control of the situation. You have, you know, you control your half, you control you. And it's for, you know, it's all up to the other person, any particular, you know, prospect other person to, you know, react, you know, in a positive or negative, hopefully, you know, preferably positive manner. So I guess, long story short, I'm not used to, you know, usually if I want to do something like movies or biking or kayaking or something, I'll just do it, you know. And even if something is hard and I want to do it, I'll still just persevere and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying and just do it until I do it, or until it's done, or until whatever. But, you know, like I say, making connections with people is one of those rarities. You know, you're not gonna make someone like you, or you're not gonna, you know, it's whether you make connections is not fully in your control. It's like I say, it's half of, you play half of the part and the other person plays the other half of the part. And I just wish, you know, over the last couple weeks now, or maybe just the last week or so, I really kind of reached this point where it's kind of like, I really wish, and last night I was walking, you know, through the woods and stuff, that wooded area that's by the place I live, and I was thinking to myself, you know, I have to go to bed, or you know, go to bed and wake up, you know, and every single day I wake up, I have to, like, I don't know, just you know, incite or recite. How do you say? What do you do when you say something? Recite, I think. Recite this vow every morning, like I wake up in the morning, every afternoon when I wake up, and be like, you know, have some kind of a short vow, like, you know, beeth on this day and every day henceforth, to nevereth, you know, to accept thine circumstance, and nevereth againeth, you know, trieth toeth, meeteth peopleth, you know, and just enjoy your own selfeth company, and enjoy your hobbies and interests, and in particular now coming up spring and summer, and just wipeth the desireth off of this my mindeth to freaking meet people, or to try to connect with people, because in my experience over the last several decades of my life, if it, you know, it doesn't happen, and even if it does happen, it's a short-lived situation. So in closing, that's kind of what the video is about, and that's where I am, and where my mindset is now. This is the first spring you guys have spent with me. I started this channel in June 14th, 2014, and this is the first spring. So, you know, expect to see, you know, probably, I would imagine, a more upbeat and chipper for a while, you know, at least I hope, you know, version of me as the spring, you know, progresses into summer and stuff. Usually, and I'm kind of not bothering with that mentality anymore, as you can see, but usually as the spring approaches, and as I'm in spring, I mean, after all, spring is kind of like the mating season and all this and that. So usually when spring approaches, and when it is spring, I'll really have especially since the outdoor weather is approaching and all this beautiful weather to do stuff and share stuff with people, or you have so much outdoor stuff to share with people. I always, for the last several years, probably, I don't know, probably 10 or more, every spring I'll get in the same mindset, like, oh, you know, and I'll say to myself, this is it, this is the spring. Every fucking year I'll be the same thing and never happens. This is the spring, I gotta make something happen. And again, like I say, you can't make meeting anyone happen. You know, I mean, as far as like, you know, forming a mutually beneficial and, you know, whatever connection. You can't make it happen. You can do your half, but you can't control, you know, the other half of it. So, and this spring is just kind of like, you know, I'm smart enough finally where I'm kind of like, I don't think I have that mentality this spring as much as, you know, it's still something in the back of my mind, even now with my, like I say, this topic of maybe I should accept my fate as far as just being, you know, alone. And you know, in relation to the last video I posted, which was things I'm grateful for, I mean, don't constantly think, in relation to not having anyone in your life, don't constantly think about the stuff you're missing out on. Also keep in mind, or maybe even in the forefront, all of the stuff, all of the negative things that you're missing out on, like, you know, people not showing up, you know, making plans to go out on the boat and they don't show up, or making plans for anything and they don't show up, and just, you know, just keep in mind all of the negatives that can potentially happen when you know someone and depend on someone to, you know, show up or play their part or whatever, and any kind of, you know, get together you might have planned or whatever. So that's something I'm going to try to do. I think I've tried it in the past and it always wears off when you end up just longing for people. But I'm just going to, like I say, last night I thought maybe I have to, every day I wake up, have this, you know, thing I recite in the morning, you know, like in the bathroom mirror, taped to the bathroom mirror, and just that I walk in there and take a piss, you know, and see this thing on the bathroom mirror and just recite this every morning to keep it in my mind, this, you know, your whole life doesn't necessarily have to, you know, revolve around connections you make with other people. And if you can't, which clearly I can't, if you can't make connections with other people, you're going to have to shift, you know, unless you want to be miserable your whole life, you have to shift, you know, your thought process to, you know, change it to what is more acceptable or to what is more doable in relation to, you know, realistic goal. Because if you want to, like, you know, if you have like if you're a paragliding fan and you hope to, you know, eventually land on the moon someday, you know, you're going to have a disappointing life because you're not going to ever or paraglide. Is that a term? You know, whatever. These people who have these wings and they jump off cliffs and, you know, glide or whatever, you know, you're not gonna, even in a plane, let's just say you have a pilot license, you know, and your dream is to land on the moon in your little plane. You're not gonna. And, you know, that kind of potentially can lead to a you know, an unhappy life. So, but anyway, I have to end. So thank you very much for watching, and gosh darn it, it's really nice out these days, and I'm looking forward to this week of beautiful weather, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.